Help me reach 1,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. I didn't expect the weeks leading up to my proposal to feel heavy. If anything, they were supposed to feel light, hopeful, almost cinematic. I'm James, 34, project manager, not the impulsive type. When I decided I was ready to propose to Elizabeth, it wasn't a whim. It was calculated, intentional, earned. I'd spent months planning everything quietly, the ring hidden in a locked drawer in my office, the restaurant booked under a co-worker's name, the words practiced in my head during late drives home. Elizabeth and I had been together for 4 years. She was articulate, ambitious, the kind of woman people trusted quickly. When she spoke, others leaned in. I loved that about her. She made me feel chosen. Not needed, not convenient, but chosen. That matters more than people admit. The last few months had been busy for both of us. She'd taken on extra responsibility at her marketing firm, longer hours, more calls she took in other rooms. I noticed, but I didn't challenge it. Relationships go through seasons, and I believed in riding them out instead of interrogating them. Still, something subtle had shifted. Not distance exactly, but a quietness that lingered longer than usual. One Thursday evening, 3 days before the proposal, I left work early. I wanted to surprise her with dinner. Nothing extravagant, just her favorite Thai place and an excuse to slow things down. When I pulled into our apartment parking lot, I realized I had forgotten my wallet at home that morning. No problem, I thought. I'd grab it quickly, maybe kiss her hello, then head back out. The apartment door was unlocked. Elizabeth's heels were by the entryway, her coat draped over the chair. I heard her voice before I saw her. She was in the bedroom, phoned her ear, pacing. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I called her name once, softly, but she didn't hear me. Then I heard my own name. James doesn't know, she said. Her tone wasn't panicked. It was measured, controlled, the kind of voice people use when they're confident in what they're saying. I stopped moving. There are moments in life when your body reacts before your mind does. My chest tightened. My hands felt oddly cold. I stood there, invisible, listening to the woman I was about to ask to marry me explain something about me as if I were an obstacle to manage. I can't keep delaying it forever, she continued. He's serious. I can tell. And no, I don't think he suspects anything. He trusts me. That word, trust, landed harder than anything else. I should have walked away. I should have announced myself. Instead, I stayed where I was, pressed against the wall, learning something I hadn't asked to learn. She wasn't whispering. She wasn't apologizing. She was strategizing. I just need more time, Elizabeth said. Once everything's settled, it'll be easier. I don't want this blowing up before I'm ready. Before she was ready for what, she didn't say. The silence on the other end of the call stretched long enough that I imagined someone listening carefully, weighing options. When she spoke again, her voice softened. No, I do care about him. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. A pause. But caring doesn't fix everything. I felt something fracture quietly inside me, not explode. Fracture, like a stress crack you don't notice until the structure fails. At that point, if this story resonates with you, please tap the like button so it can reach others who may need to hear it too. Elizabeth laughed lightly at something the other person said. It was the same laugh she used with me when she wanted to keep things smooth, uncomplicated. That familiarity made it worse. I'll talk to you later, she said. Just don't say anything yet. The call ended. I stepped back just as she came out of the bedroom. She smiled when she saw me, surprised but warm. You're home early, she said. Forgot my wallet. I replied, amazed at how steady my voice sounded. She nodded, unbothered, already moving toward the kitchen. I was just finishing a call. I watched her for a second, wondering how long someone can live inside two different truths without it showing. Then I picked up my wallet and followed her out the door, carrying a secret I never wanted and a question I wasn't ready to ask. The drive to the restaurant felt longer than usual. Elizabeth talked about her day, about a client who kept changing deadlines, about how tired she was. I responded when necessary, nodded when expected. Inside, my mind replayed fragments of call, rearranging them, searching for a version that didn't end badly. But clarity has a way of settling when you stop fighting it. I realized I wasn't confused. I was disappointed. At dinner, she reached for my hand across the table. I let her, not because I felt close, but because I wanted to observe. There's a strange calm that comes when you stop trying to fix things in real time. You start noticing details. The way she avoided talking about the future. The way her phone lit up face down, and she didn't turn it over. Halfway through the meal, she asked, "You're quiet. Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said, "just thinking." If you were in my place right then, drop a comment and tell me. Would you have confronted her immediately or waited like I did? That night, lying beside her, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and thought about the ring, the speech, the version of our future I'd been rehearsing alone. I thought about trust and how fragile it really is once you hear it used against you. The next morning, Elizabeth left early. I took the day off work. I sat at the kitchen table, phone in front of me, replaying her words until they lost their sharpness and became something colder. Information. By noon, I made a decision, not out of anger, out of self-respect. I canceled the restaurant reservation. Then I went to my office and retrieved the ring. I didn't feel dramatic doing it. I felt methodical, like closing out a file that no longer belonged to me. That evening, when Elizabeth came home, I asked her to sit down. She sensed it immediately. People always do when the tone shifts. "What's going on?" she asked. "I came home early Thursday." I said, "I heard your phone call." Her face changed in stages. Surprise. Calculation. Then stillness. "How much did you hear?" "Enough," I replied. Silence stretched between us. She didn't deny it. That told me more than any confession could have. "I was going to tell you," she said finally. "I just needed time." "To do what?" I asked. She looked away. "To figure things out." "That's the problem," I said. "You were figuring things out without me. If this moment hit you emotionally, type the word clarity in the comments. Sometimes naming it helps." She started explaining about pressure, about expectations, about feeling unsure but not wanting to lose me. The words sounded rehearsed, like she'd practiced them for a version of this conversation where I begged her to stay. I didn't. I was going to propose this weekend. I said calmly. Her breath caught. "James, I'm not saying that to hurt you." I continued. "I'm saying it because it explains why I can't do this anymore." Tears came then. Promises. Regret. She reached for me, and for the first time in months, I stepped back. "I don't want to be someone's maybe," I said. I packed a bag that night. Not everything. Just enough. When I reached the door, she asked if we could talk more later. I told her no. Some conversations only work once. If you know someone who's standing at the edge of a decision like this, please share this story with them. Sometimes perspective is the push people need. I moved into a short-term rental. The first week was quiet. Too quiet. Then the quiet turned honest. I slept better. I thought clearer. I stopped second-guessing myself. Elizabeth texted a few times. I didn't respond. Closure doesn't always come from dialogue. Sometimes it comes from consistency. Looking back, I'm grateful I overheard that call. Not because it didn't hurt, but because it saved me from building a future on half-truths. So here's my question to you. Do you think trust, once cracked, can ever fully return, or is it better to walk away? Share your thoughts below. And if stories like this resonate with you, stories about self-respect, hard choices, and quiet strength, like subscribe and comment to stay connected. There's a reason these conversations matter.